Okay, a very good afternoon, everybody. We are very sorry for the challenges we've had with our technology. We have been struggling to make the system work, and we are more than 50 minutes late. So I know by now many of the participants that we invited may have all gone. But I think it's very important that we continue to try and establish the best way to deliver on these webinars. The challenges we had today is just part of the problem of quality infrastructure. And this is why this um, topic is very important for us as a country. I welcome you officially again today for our Nina's webinar series. Today's theme for our webinar series is the quality policy, the implication for Nigerians' private and public sector. Let me start by thanking colleagues, friends, and stakeholders connecting from different parts of the globe for this webinar. And I will also recognize that all our colleagues from the other national quality institutions are connected here. Our regulators, other MDAs, and private sector-led leaders are all on this webinar. Hopefully, the technological challenge may have not made all of them to disconnect. We welcome you to this first webinar, which we have dedicated to quality infrastructure matters. As we may all know, national quality policy provides the framework for national quality infrastructure needs of the country, while the regional and continental quality policy provides for the framework and guidance for regional and continental quality aspirations of Africa. Nigerian government, through the Federal Executive Council, approved a national quality policy. This policy is one of the products of the National Quality Infrastructure Program, NQIP, which was funded by European Union and was implemented by UNIDO with the coordination of the Federal Ministry of Trade and Industry, the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. At the end of the project, which ended in January of 2019, the Department of FMIT, in recognition of the value and the need for the policy, worked so hard with other stakeholders to restart the effort towards reviewing existing draft policy, efforts to align it to global best practices, and then went further to provide all the needed coordination for validation by the stakeholders, and also pushed for the approval of the policy. When we set out for this effort, we had with us, along with the Department of Trade in the FMIT, we built a coalition of partners that provided the support for this important work. Those partners included the World Bank Group, the CNFA USAID Group, Standards Organization of Nigeria, United States Pharmacopoeia, and about 45 representatives drawn from MDAs and organizations in both in public and private sector. These were all mobilized to work together, discuss together, to come out with a draft that the nation can be proud of. And historically, after 4 years in the making, national quality policy was validated in November of 2019 at Chelsea Hotel in Abuja, with 44 stakeholder institutions, private sectors, and MDAs physically signing the validation form. Yet again, we made another history in February 2021 when Federal Executive Council approved a national quality policy and its implementation plan, with the Nigerian government becoming among the few. With this, Nigerian government became among the few in Africa that have a quality policy approved. Then, as if that was not enough, in recent meeting of the African Union Council, African Union Commission Council, African quality policy was approved for implementation. This policy was developed and drawn by member states working together to agree on a legal framework and guidance for quality-related matters in Africa. And so, NINAS is being inspired by this development to begin webinar series to address the gaps that we have identified. Number one is the knowledge gap. We hope that this webinar series will provide awareness and learning platform for our stakeholders in matters of quality infrastructure and help with the understanding, interpretation, and application of this policy. It is also our hope that this webinar will provide learning opportunities to focus that are focused from sector to sector to address the specific needs of the manufacturers, producers, exporters, policymakers, regulators, and academia. The desire to commence this webinar series is born also out of the understanding that it seems the actual users of quality infrastructure services are in desperate need for a more simplified conversation on this subject matter. So this webinar series will be less academic, but still will provide facts and tools to enable the application of quality policy and quality infrastructure in our economy by economic actors. This webinar will provide opportunity for the policymakers and private sector to continuously dialogue as we embark on this journey. Ladies and gentlemen, all these achievements wouldn't have been possible, or it would have been wasted if it was not for the commitment of the Honorable Minister for Federal Ministry of Trade, Industry, and the support of the major partners, as I mentioned before, World Bank in Nigeria. Our president also led the way to personally sign this policy into force. So we remain very grateful as we embark on this national journey for quality. We recognize all their contributions. So with this detailed background, this detailed historical background, I invite you, I am inviting very young Nigerians and the team at NINAS, our working team at NINAS, to lead today's conversation on quality policy. They will help to provide answers to some questions we will ask today. I will be asking first round of questions. At the end of the first round of the question, we will open it up to participants and we'll be able to take one or two questions from our participants. However, we encourage everybody to submit questions on the chat box. Using the chat box, we'll endeavor to provide answers to all questions, either via email or on the chat box. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me now to invite Mr. Augustine Onwude to give us a summary of the national quality policy and inform us of its abstract. Just for records, Mr. Austin is a staff with NINAS and is the head of NINAS Information and Accreditation Technology Department. Mr. Austin, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, sir. Good day, everyone. I also want to apologize for a delay, and I want to first of all start by stating one of the obvious challenges that we face in Nigeria and Africa generally. One of these key challenges is moving from an economy that is strictly based on, that has its basis on production and exporting commodities, to producing quality products. The reason is simple. Globally now, there is a level of standard that have been put in place that states the requirements you need to meet before your goods can be accepted or even be allowed to compete in the international or the global market. So that's why we need to move from just producing and exporting to producing goods and product and services that are actually of quality. One important thing we need to know is, yes, it's no news that the quality of products and services in Nigeria and also Africa generally can play a key role in eradicating and reducing poverty, which is one of the key SDG goals. The reason is simple. If we produce quality products, like I said, we can export and it will be accepted globally, and then that will in turn improve our GDP. However, quality does not happen by accident. It's something that we need to intentionally take very critical steps and implement certain systems to achieve quality. So Africa on its own, in Nigeria inclusive, needs to seriously invest in quality infrastructure and quality systems at the national, regional, and international level. And setting up a quality infrastructure is one of the practical steps that we can be able to produce and export quality products. I would love to give us a brief definition of what a quality infrastructure system is. So a quality infrastructure system provides the governmental policy with objectives in industrial development, trade competitiveness in global markets, efficient use of natural and human resources, food safety, health, the environment, and climate change. It offers a complete package whereby the needs of the nation's citizens are met, and also provides objectives whereby consumers from the nation, that consumers of Nigeria or any other country in Africa needs to benefit from safe living and quality products. Also, it gives us objectives that guide people that offer us services, technological services, security services, to ensure that they meet a certain benchmark and what they give to us as a nation is of quality also. So the quality infrastructure system covers key aspects, including policy, institutions, service providers, like I mentioned earlier, and the proper use of international standard and conformity assessment procedures. The national quality policy serves as a base and a government instrument that sets out objectives for the quality infrastructure system in 4 key areas. And those 4 key areas are, because of the stakeholders and people that are involved in this webinar, you might have heard these 4 key areas in the past, heard of them in the past. And these key areas are the accreditation area, the metrology, standardization, and conformity assessment. These are the 4 basic foundations of the quality infrastructure system. Then what was it for Nigeria? What was it for Nigeria on its own to have its own national quality policy? We have seen its impact at the regional level and for various nations. But for Nigeria, our quality policy provides us with guiding principles and strategies on how we are going to implement a proper quality infrastructure. And it also offers us the opportunity to reach international arrangements at both the regional and the international level. It also gives us an insight into the roles and expectations of various stakeholders in achieving this in achieving the quality infrastructure. The roles of both the government, the roles of regulators, the roles of citizens, the roles of producers, manufacturers, and also the consumers. In implementing the Nigerian National Quality Policy, there are 5 key provisions that are stated in the document. This key provision summarizes what is expected of us to understand about the quality policy. And the first one is the context and status of the quality infrastructure. This gives us an insight into the vision and mission of the Nigerian National Quality Policy. It tells us about the rationale, why the government felt that there was a need to implement the National Quality Policy. It was linked to the Nigerian Industrial Revolution Plan that gives us a roadmap to industrialization. It also has this relationship with our regional industrial policy, that's the West African Common Industrial Policy. Also, we currently have a quality infrastructure. It's not that we don't have it at all, and the context and status of the quality infrastructure gives us detailed information on our current status of our quality infrastructure. And we have four structures. We have the accreditation, the legal metrology, National Metrology Institute, and standardization. Then it also looks at the aims and objectives of Nigerian National Quality Policy, how it improves what we produce and what we produce, what we consume, and what we can export. The second key provision of the quality policy is roadmap for achieving Nigerian National Quality Policy. This provides us with guiding principles on implementing and achieving this policy the way it should be. So it gives us an insight into the drivers of this policy. It provides information about how we can realign already existing quality sectors so that the international goals and international expectations are met while implementing the quality policy. And it also provides information about the institutional arrangements, where we have a lot of stakeholders when it comes to the quality infrastructure. But the Nigerian National Quality Policy provides us with some key stakeholders that have a lot of roles to play. And one of the key stakeholders is the Office of the President. That tells how important it is to have this policy. The second key stakeholder is SON, the Standards Organization of Nigeria. We have our body, Nigerian National Accreditation System, as one of the key stakeholders. We have NAFDAC, and we also have the National Metrology Institute. We have more of them, but these are one of the key stakeholders when it comes to implementing the quality policy. Also, one of the provisions looks into the policy, financial, and legal arrangements for the quality policy. Quality infrastructure is something that is a bit financially consuming. It can be a bit financially strenuous. So the government is responsible for financing, developing, and maintaining quality institutes at the public level. And also they need to look at already existing legal frameworks to ensure that what we are practicing and what we want to implement to practice in the nearest future is in line with the international requirements, so that even after implementing the quality policy, we can still go by the saying that accepted in Nigeria will be accepted globally. Finally, one of the key provisions in the quality policy is the activities and expected outcome of implementing this policy. And one of the expected outcome is us being able to have technology upgradation, us being able to upgrade with the level of technology that we use across all sectors, both the medical sector, the agricultural sector, the ICT sector, and also being able to produce not just commodities, but commodities that can compete in the global market because of its level of quality. And also, it's expected that implementing this quality policy will give consumers the right to understand that quality is something that they should demand, and also producers and service providers will understand the role that they need to play in ensuring that quality is met across various sectors that they offer services to. Um, I want to note that the Nigerian National Quality Policy has a close relationship with the African Quality Policy. It in a way mirrors it. Um, uh, I hope this provides a proper insight into the abstract of the Nigerian National Quality Policy, sir. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you, Mr. Austin Ongude. Yes, I will agree that you've given us a very good insight into the abstract and the provisions of the Nigerian National Quality Policy. And you also mentioned as part of your presentation the Africa Quality Policy and how they actually relate. And like I said before, Africa Quality Policy provides a continental framework for quality for the African continent and then their members, the member states. So I think maybe to highlight the value, I mean, and compare these two policies, let me invite Mr. Victor Ugu to try to give us insight on the differences or comparison between these two policies. Victor is one of the young Nigerians that we are inspiring into quality infrastructure related subjects. So these are going to be future experts in this business. So Victor, kindly go ahead and give us the comparison between the two policies.
Uh, Thank you very much, sir. Um, Also, to go right at it and answer your question, basically, the African quality policy is structured on a continental level, and the Nigerian national quality policy is structured on a national level. But let me go a little bit in depth to try and give better understanding. The reasons why I think the urgency for the question came about was it is very essential to understand the policies we are dealing with so that we can be able to properly utilize them, right? So the African quality policy sprung out from a result of effort by the African quality professionals to produce a policy that would ensure that the stakeholders and the quality requirements of flagship programs like the AFCTA, which is the African Continental Free Trade Area, the boosting inter-African trade, accelerated industrial development for Africa, the African mining vision, and so many other flagship programs are met. Right. So the policy highlights the institutional, the constitutional, structural, and collaboration requirements for the existence of a robust quality infrastructure in Africa. Um, that would adequately support industrial development, trade liberalization, and other Africa socio-economic endeavors. Now, the African quality policy aims to provide guidance. It doesn't aim to provide them the quality policy itself for them to use, but it aims to provide member states guidance in initiatives in its flagship programs. The flagship programs are those I highlighted earlier, the program for infrastructure development in Africa, African Free Trade Frontier Area, and they're happy. But the Nigerian National Quality Policy um, seeks to re-engineer the quality infrastructure to achieve Nigerians' national economic plans and to determine the proper division of the responsibilities to facilitate trade, enhance exports, facilitate sustainable growth, economic development, which will be beneficial to all, right? And protect the environment as well as health and safety of consumers. Now, the Nigerian National Quality Policy intends to propel the development of global best practices, which is obvious, in the quality infrastructure in Nigeria, and is in sync with the underlying philosophy, as earlier highlighted by my boss and Mr. Austin. Um, it's the underlying philosophy of the Nigerian Industrial Revolutionary Plan and the National Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, and the current administration's agenda of creating an enabling environment for private sector-led inclusive growth and development. Now, with that, we can see the differences between the two. They are both were made to help boost the quality infrastructure, the quality infrastructure system in Africa and in Nigeria. But the African quality policy is on the continental level, while the Nigerian national quality policy is on a national level. When we actually understand and utilize both, we can be able to move forward as both the country and the continent. I hope that I hope that gets it.
Yes, yes, thank you, Victor, for that clear comparison of, between the Nigerian National Quality Policy. And just to emphasize, the African Quality Policy was also developed, like you said, by the quality infrastructure professionals. In this case, it was developed by Pan-African Quality Infrastructure, PACI. And as our participants may know, PACI is a forum of all the quality pillars in the continent, which includes for standardization, African Organization for Standard, ASO, AfriMed for metrology, AFSEC for electrotechnical. These institutions came together to form a forum of PACI, which by the grace of God, I'm the chairman as of today. So this is a piece of work that was done by PACI, and this policy is a kind of guidance to African Union on implementation of quality-related drivers of our industrial development as a continent. And then national bodies, member states are supposed to mirror their own quality policy along same line with that of the continental aspirations. So yes, that's why I said you did very good work in providing this comparison. Now, just to highlight the fact that we didn't just wake up and decide to write quality policy. Can you tell our participants a little more about why the government of Nigeria decided to invest time and resources in developing Nigeria quality policy, national quality policy? Mr. Victor.
Thank you very much, sir. Um, uh, Basically, the quality infrastructure in Nigeria and the quality policy, the basis was, if you can remember, when I was earlier comparing the two, I stated about the proper division of mandate to facilitate trade. Now, over time, over years, we've seen overlap of mandate between quality institutions that had led to wastage of resources, and that has been a huge problem. And the quality policy has been formulated to try and address these issues. Also, seen issues of things like duplicated conformity assessment activities that led to high bills being paid by producers, uh, high cost of the conformity assessment itself. So the quality policy wants to. That's why the whole. That's why the whole policy. The first line you hear, re-engineer the quality infrastructure. it's through the engineering that we can have better conformity assessment activities that would lead to uh, bills, affordable bills being paid by producers, exporters, just affordable services. Um, we've also seen things like I think recently I was reading a publication and I saw about the number of rejects, product rejects by international bodies for Nigerian products. And you can, when you're reading this, you feel so hot, and you know that it has affected our image as a Nigerian, as a country. You know that this, when you see your products being rejected by international markets, you feel bad about it, and because it has affected our image, and because of the so many rejects that has been occurred over time, the number of rejects that have been occurred over time, the national policy seeks to address this so that we can better facilitate trade in the nation. Lastly, uh, we actually don't have a suitable infrastructure to test imports and even internal products for conformance. And so what we've been getting are substandard products and preferences to other products imported, like products in America, products in China, and countries like that. And we've also seen issues of where these substandard products of could cause harm to our health and the safety of our environment. So the quality policy seeks to address all these issues, and these issues are really, really groundbreaking. They're really, really heavy on us, and if we do not address them, it pose a serious problem on our future. And seeing this, the government and the quality infrastructure professionals have been working all around the clock trying to see that this quality policy is approved, which it has, and now to see that it is implemented, because we know the problems that will arise if it's not. So thank you, sir. I think this gives the basis for quality policy itself.
Thank you, Victor, for reminding us the core reasons why the government of Nigeria went ahead to work on this policy. Um, and we have also heard from you how it compares to the Africa quality policy. I think at the end of the whole exercise of implementing Nigerian national quality policy, we envisage or we expect some benefits, and these benefits are going to be showing up in our economy in different forms and different degrees in our developmental journey, whether it's economy or as a people. So, to help us understand the benefits of quality policy in a nation like Nigeria, let me invite another young Nigerian who is working very hard to be an expert on quality infrastructure, Ms. Zena Taylor, to speak to us about benefits of Nigerian national quality policy if properly implemented.
Good day, everyone. So I'm going to be taking the benefits, the things we gain from implementing this national policy to both we citizens, to we citizens, government, organizations, and international trade. So I'm starting with the government. The Nigerian national policy helps the government strengthen and develop the national policy infrastructure, which will, which will let us achieve increase in exports, like increase our trade volume in other countries, and also accelerate our economic growth, increase our GDP, GNP, income, and reduce our expenses. It aims to guide the federal government in leading the process for demand quality in Nigeria's industrial, commercial, government businesses, essentially in its entire economic space. The national policy strengthens the national metrology system, especially the metrology profile, which is a significant component in the country's overall activities. Yes, the metrology system is our standard for measurement in the country, so it helps us strengthen this measurement in our services. It also helps develop a strategy for quality promotion through the national quality infrastructure, and assist the country's enterprises in becoming a globally competitive nation, including better integration into regional and international value chains. Then I'm going to be moving on to the benefits to international trade. The Nigerian national quality infrastructure helps it helps increase our export led it helps increase Nigeria's export led growth by the following ways. It contributes to realizing and effective national policy infrastructure, as I said earlier, which is capable of raising the quality of goods and services that are produced in the country. Yes, when we produce our goods according to the quality standard, our goods will be of high quality, and other countries will be moved to do business with Nigeria, therefore increasing our export rate. Then it ensures that the goods and services emanating from Nigeria are designed, manufactured, packaged, and supplied according to the requirements and demands of the regulatory authorities in the export market. This will thereby improve our reputation as a country in producing quality goods and services in the international market. Then to help prevent circulation of substandard goods by ensuring that goods that any good that do not comply with our national and agreed international standards do not enter the country. So we are safe from getting substandard goods. Moving on to the benefits to consumers or citizens. The quality policy ensures that goods and services that are produced and supplied to consumers meet our needs. Yes, when the quality policy ensures that whatever we demand, we need, whatever we require is what's being put out for us to purchase. And by this, to enable us to be satisfied and happy about the products we are getting. NNQP also ensures that there's availability of quality products to the consumers. Yes, not only should the products be designed according to the way we want, or it should be provided according to the way we want, we also want it to be readily available. We don't want cases of our products being scarce in the market when we need them. We always want them to be available as anytime we want them. And it helps improve protection of our consumers and the environment by raising the quality of locally manufactured goods and services in Nigeria. Yeah, it's when our goods are of high quality, there's little to no harm that's going to happen to we citizens. We are safe and our environments are protected. Then benefits to regulators. Nigeria National Quality Policy supports regulatory bodies by expanding the use of accreditation into the entire national regulatory environment. And by this, it helps reduce the cost of conformity assessment. It gives a clear mandate and elaborates a proper division of work regarding the administration of technical regulation measures and voluntary standard practices. It also ensures that the technical regulatory framework complies with the requirements of the AfCFTA, that's the African Continental Free Trade Area, the WTO TBT, World Trade Organization, Technical Barriers to Trade, and SPS agreements, sanitary and phytosanitary agreement, through the application of good regulatory and voluntary conformity assessment practices. And it helps advise and support the regulatory authorities on technical development and implementation, thereby ensuring that they are coordinated, consistent, efficient, and avoid duplication of efforts. The benefits to industries or enterprises, be it a small or medium enterprise, be it public or private sector, these are the following benefits we gain from the implementation of the national policy. The national policy implementation will help to achieve the actionable plan provided by the NIRP, that's the Nigeria Industrial Revolution Plan, across Nigeria's comparative and competitive advantage areas, which are the agro-allied industries, solid minerals industry, and oil and gas related industries. It enables the competence of conformity assessment service providers in both the public and private domain by providing a framework for their establishment. It supports small medium enterprises to conform to national standards and comply with technical regulations, thereby enhancing our economic growth in the country. This policy also impacts on the most vulnerable poor and small struggling businesses to survive by driving the economic development of Nigeria. NNQP helps public and private sector organizations to develop and implement best management practices. Due to this policy, industries and other organizations will be encouraged to adopt the quality improvement practices in their day-to-day activities. Then It also provides support to small and medium enterprises by training and giving them capacity building programs. I hope I've been able to explain the benefits you gain from implementing this Nigerian national policy to we citizens, to the industry, organizations, international trade, and government. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Zainab. Honestly, you've done justice to this my question, and I'm sure our participants and every other person watching will be proud that we have young Nigerians that are really working hard to drive the future of quality infrastructure in this country. And if we can only implement to benefit from all that you have said, I think Nigeria will be better for it. We have had, of course, cases and stories of policies that have been approved in the past in our history, and those policies never saw the light of the day in terms of implementation. Some of the policies have just ended up on the shelves where they are gathering dust for one reason or the other. And our hope is that this policy, Nigerian national quality policy, will not be treated that way. And it is no longer hope, it is also a reality now that the government has taken a very bold step in planning the implementation. I am aware that on the 7th of this month, the National Quality Council will be inaugurated at the presidency. And this is a bold step by the federal government to make right their promise of implementing this policy. But just in case something happened, which we pray doesn't happen, that we fail to implement these policies properly as drafted and approved, what will be our challenges? What will be our challenges?
Thank you, sir, for this question. We have heard the benefits of implementing the quality policy to the country from Ms. Zainab, and this sounds so great. The truth is that we should hope that our quality policy be implemented as drafts. But if this quality policy is not implemented fully, then the quality of Nigerian goods and services will remain low. And low quality of goods and services cannot compete in international markets. And if this quality policy is not implemented, it will affect our trade, health and safety of the consumers as well. Consumers need this assurance, this trust, this confidence that the products and services render to them are of good quality. So this is one of the big factors we need to look at. And also the poor quality of the products and services will affect our trade volume negatively. For example, before the ban of beans, the trade volume of beans was high. But after the ban of Nigerian beans in Europe, the trade volume has remained low. Furthermore, the rejection of our products and services at international borders affects our reputation, affects the country reputation. So if we fail to implement this important policy, then the Nigeria economy will continue to struggle. It will slow down our national development. Poor quality products from the manufacturer and producer will not be competitive in the local and international market. Therefore, imported quality goods will continue to dominate our market, making it difficult for our local industry to survive. This will affect the growth of our industries and their ability to create jobs. Yes, the African Continental Free Trade has provided a huge opportunity for small, medium and big enterprise to trade in single African market. And this is a big as great opportunity for producers, manufacturers to trade. But if this quality policy is not implemented, then Nigeria may just become a dumping ground. And failure to implement the quality policy will be difficult for Nigeria to achieve mutual recognition arrangements with other countries. And our conformity assessment certificate will not be accepted by other countries. So these factors are something we need to work on. We need to sit down and look at it. And finally, it is said that if a country quality infrastructure is good, they will trade well. And if they trade well, they will develop faster. So let's use this opportunity to look at these factors and implement our quality policy. Thank you. And I'm sure I was able to answer some of your questions, sir. Thank you so much.
So, thank you, Miss Rose, for summarizing for us the danger of not implementing quality policy. As we all have heard from our guest speakers today, we're able to understand the background, the abstract, and the basis for the quality policy as it was drafted. We also learned from Mr. Victor the comparison. He compared the Africa Quality Policy and the Nigerian National Quality Policy, and as well provided insight as to the reasons or the major problems that Nigerian government set to solve using the quality policy. And you can also recall that Zainab described for us very, very well in a detailed manner the benefits of the quality policy. And then we concluded with Rosemary discussing the challenges and the danger of not implementing quality policy. So we had opportunity to receive questions on the chat, and the answers to those questions we are providing them on the comment box. But I think we thought it wise also to have a next short webinar to address the questions that were raised and the questions that may be raised by our participants. And this will happen before the main webinar that will take place very soon when we conclude the arrangements with the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment and the National Secretariat for Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, the office overseeing the implementation of AFCFTA. We are trying to reach an arrangement where we can jointly provide this webinar in a more robust and a more technical manner so that the implementation of Nigeria National Quality Policy excuse me, will be easier, will be of value to our industry. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me once again thank you for connecting. Thank you for joining us in this conversation. And we hope that we have given you the basics, the introduction that is needed to get this conversation going. And we'll be announcing our next webinar very soon, and we will be also sharing the team with you. We promise that all the challenges we had today will be resolved or hope to resolve them before those days, especially the connectivity and the technical computer challenges that we had. One more time from my office, the office of the DG of Nigerian National Accreditation System. It is with a heart full of joy that I say thank you for your time and God bless you.